Hey everyone, it's NHL Hockey News Reports. We're back on the video, and today we're talking about the NHL free agency preview with the wingers, centers, defense, goalies, yep, and who's going to be hitting the market tomorrow. So tomorrow, yes, July 13th is free agency day. So day one of free agency, it opens up. These teams that have previous or former teams of these players had a chance to talk to them, their own negotiations, but now it's open to everyone, all teams, and they can make any negotiations without, all teams can just go after a player like Johnny Gaudreau. Anyone can give him an offer, not just the Calgary Flames. So talk about Johnny Gaudreau quickly here. This evening we have found out Johnny Gaudreau will be testing the market. He's not coming back to Calgary. I guess it's a family thing. He wants to come closer to his family, which is more in the New York area. So the Rangers, the Islanders, the Devils, the Hurricanes, even that could be a possibility. The Devils, I wouldn't say the Sabres, but the Flyers, well, he was a fan of when he was a child. So those are definitely possibilities there of Gaudreau going to, and we'll see what happens tomorrow. I'm sure we'll find out where he's going tomorrow. The Flames tried to sign him. It wasn't about money. Even tried to go more than $10 million on an 8-year deal. Obviously that wasn't about money. It was about where he wanted to go, and get back where he was. Close to his family. So, going to the other wingers we have is Andre Palat, Max Domi, Nino Niederreiter, Andre Burakovsky, Paul Stastny, Andrew Kopp, Ilya Mikheyev, and Phil Kessel. Then we have Riley Smith on the right side of the board there, Colin Wright, David Perron, Frankie Vetrano, Kyle Youngkirk, Evander Kane, Mason Marchment, Ryan Donato, Andre Kase, Dominic Kubalik, and Zach Heinen. So there you go. Those are the guys we have out there. A couple of guys had to take off the board as I was making this. I made this a couple of days ago, and the Drewskins off the board, some other ones are off the board already. So there you go. Rick Harrell's off the board. Edler's off the board on defense. So, but now, this is the official list of who is making it tomorrow. So, looking at the wingers there, very interesting. Gaudreau, like I said, I gave you the destinations. Palat, it'll be interesting who gives him money. Definitely someone will go after him. Maybe the Flames try to go after him since they got the money. Absolutely could be a possibility. But Palat, playoff success, 2 Stanley Cups, 4 final appearances, 2015, 2020, 2021, and 2022. So there you go. But Palat, very good in the playoffs, solid player. It looks like the Tampa Bay Lightning couldn't afford him, but I wouldn't be surprised if he goes back to Tampa. Moving on to Max Domi. Max Domi, his previous contract made $5 million. The thing about that, and Max Domi, that he's not going to be paid $5 million. He'll be paid less. He's 27, but you're never going to get back to what he did in Montreal, a 72-point season. I just don't see that. He's more of a bottom 6 winger, center, if you want to call him that. He wants to play center all the time, but we'll see who picks him up. It could be the Rangers, it could be the Islanders, it could be assortment of teams that could give him a good chance. Niederreiter, going to free agency here. He's a streaky guy. He might still score a ton of goals, or he might have his times he might be on a cold streak. So we'll see what happens, where he goes. I would be interested in how much he makes, of a type of player he is. He does score goals, but like I said, seasons do vary for him. So we'll see what happens. Moving on to Paul Stastny, he could get like a 1-year deal somewhere. Maybe like Colorado picks him up. Goes back to Colorado, I meant. I guess the Jets aren't going to keep him, so he's out there now. We'll see where he goes. He could get around maybe $3 million or something. We'll find out. Andrew Kopp, I was hoping he would stay at the Rangers. I really like how he adjusts to the Rangers. He was just so good with the Rangers. But he could go back there. It's not like it's ruled out. He probably wants to test it, see how things are, and he could still sign with the Rangers. We'll see what happens. But Andrew Kopp, oh man, a lot of places he can go to, right? Even Calgary, a lot of places. I guess Calgary you can look at now, right? Kopp, tons of places he could go to. Hold on a second. Yeah, so a lot of teams could, maybe the Ducks would be interesting. The Red Wings, Devils, a lot of teams like that could go after him for sure. Ottawa could add even more as they've been doing. The Hurricanes would be an interesting one. Dallas, Columbus, if he wants to go to Columbus. The Oilers, the Islanders maybe. Yeah, so very interesting. Moving on to Ilya Mikheyev. I don't know. He could go to a bunch of teams. Really, it's a variety. The ones like I just said. Phil Kessel gets a short-term deal. I'm sure somewhere. I could see him. I don't know if he would go to Canada. Maybe he goes to the Ducks. Like I said, maybe Carolina. I kind of like that Carolina option for him. Stars. Maybe the Oilers sign him. Would be an interesting one for sure. Looking at the other wingers, Riley Smith out there. It looks like he's going to stay with Vegas. That's what they said, but he's not signed, so it's not official. You know what I mean? We'll see what happens. Colin White, bought out by the Senators. I'm sure teams are definitely going to look at him. Maybe like a year, like 1.5, 1.2 million for a year. See what he can really be known as, like he was supposed to be. We'll see what happens. But Colin White, I know people said Montreal, Ken Hughes wanted Colin White, but you do have Nick Suzuki, now you have Kirby Dach, you have Jake Evans. Do you bring in Colin White also? You could, right? Like, it is a possibility. David Perron, he signed only contracts with the Blues. It's a fun fact there, but been to 5 different teams. David Perron, he loves always going back to the Blues. He's always going back to the Blues, But it looks like he might be signing with a different team. I don't think St. Louis can afford him. Montreal's an interesting one for him. Dallas, Seattle, Calgary might be one. Devils, Red Wings, Ducks again. Fakey Vetrano. I like to see him go back to the Rangers. He could go to a bunch of places. I think a lot of teams would be attracted. His speed, his shot, what he did in the playoffs this year was very impressive too. Kelly Youngkrook. He's a good bottom 6 guy. Very solid in your bottom 6. Anyone could go for him. I could see more of a contender go for him. And it could be a really reasonable contract too. But we'll see what happens. He could get around 20 to 30 points, which is good for a bottom 6 center. And he can be solid for them. Just saying. Evander Kane, he's got that mess with the San Jose Sharks, right? But does he re-sign with the Oilers? Does he, Carolina, I heard would be an interesting spot for him. Seattle, Nashville, maybe. Pittsburgh could go for him also, Marchment out there. I heard the Lightning might be interested in him if they can't sign Andre Palat. Ryan Donato, I could see a $750,000 buck deal. Boston would be an interesting one to see him go back there, the place he was drafted. That's when he really showed, some of the talent there. But I'm sure someone will give Donato a shot. Like he really does have a great shot too. But I'm sure someone will give him a chance. Again, Andre Kase, he has tremendous skill. He's just got to stay, he's got to stay healthy. The Boston Bruins didn't give him a qualifying offer. Now the Maple Leafs don't. He's back at UFA status again for the 2nd straight year. You hope the best for Andre Kase and someone pick him up, I'm sure. But you just hope he can stay healthy. 60, 70 games. I want more like 70 games from Kase, right? for sure. Kubalik was a really interesting one. How the Blackhawks didn't give him a qualifying offer, so he's out there. About 30 points he got last year. He got 46 in his first year with the Blackhawks. I could say he could get back to that. He's very talented. Definitely a team will be offering him something. Then you have Danton Heinen out there, which is a good bottom six player. There you go. That Pittsburgh didn't sign, or could sign maybe. Looking at our centers: Malkin, Claude Giroux, Vinny Trocheck, Nassim Kadri, Ryan Strome, and Dylan Strome, Chris Tierney, Rem Pitlick, and Sam Steele. That's not all of them, but just some ones that stand out. Malkin, he could go back to the Penguins. It is a possibility, but he is going to be testing free agency tomorrow. The Rangers, the Panthers, the Ducks, the Avalanche, the Stars maybe go for him. Maybe the Kraken if they want him. The Devils could be interested. I know they have enough at center, but the Devils could definitely go for Malkin. Would be a really cool fit. The Rangers and the Devils would be something I'd be really interested in for sure. Moving on to Claude Giroux. I guess the Panthers can't make enough room for Claude Giroux. Yeah. Maybe he still comes back to the Panthers, but I heard the Oilers are very interested. The Senators are also interested. They added DeBrincat. Now, do they want to add Claude Giroux on top of that? Add some experience? That would be very interesting. They would do that. Vinny Trocheck, he could go to any team that could use a center. I could see the Ducks. I could see the Kraken go after him. Imagine having Matty Beniers, Shane Wright, and Vinny Trocheck. That's actually not too bad. You get a guy who has some experience, and they have two young guys. That wouldn't be bad down the middle. If Shane Wright, signs a contract and plays with the Kraken next year. Moving on to Nassim Kadri. Trocheck can go to the Capitals. So can Kadri go to the Capitals. Maybe the Senators, Kraken, Calgary. Maybe that's an option now. The Red Wings, the Ducks, maybe the Stars. I wouldn't want to pay him too much. I'm kind of like, I wouldn't pay him $6-7 million. More like $7 million, right? Closer to 7. I would say more like $7 million, 7.5 maybe. I don't know if I would pay him that much. I don't know. I don't know. Ryan Strome, another center, Dylan Strome, those guys definitely would get some interest. Dylan Strome for sure. He did have 20 goals, and they didn't qualify him, so we'll see what happens there. We'll see, maybe the Capitals, maybe the Blues, they could go for it. I would say Minnesota for a lot of this, but they have about $4 million, and they just moved out Cam Talbot, which gave them some cap space again. We'll see what happens there. Chris Tierney, he'll probably get a cheap deal. Any place Chris Tierney could go to. Rem Pitlick, really any place he could go to. Really effective with Montreal. Montreal has enough on the wing or at center. I put him at center, but he did play some center too. I should have put him on the wing, but it's alright. Pitlick, I felt like always got some. If it wasn't a goal, he'll get a point or two. Just like what Pitlick brought to the Montreal Canadiens. We'll see what he goes. Sam Steele. He didn't turn out to what the Ducks wanted him to be, so now he's not qualified. About 24 points, I think 24. He had last season. Not enough. Someone will give him a shot. Absolutely. We'll see where he goes. Moving on to defense, we have we don't have Malkin Subban. I have Malkin Subban in my mind because he just signed with the Sabres again. PK Subban. Subban, I know people said maybe the Leafs, the Bruins, that was always out there. Maybe Colorado, maybe I wouldn't like that for Edmonton. I know Dallas is looking for a right shot guy, so is Carolina. That could be a cheap option for them, but not defensively. Subban could maybe be on the power play, potentially, something like that. I don't know about Montreal, him coming back to Montreal. I just don't see that. Nick Leddy, he wants a longer-term deal with some money. we'll see where he goes. Strawman, a veteran defenseman, playing with the Coyotes last year. Actually, I didn't mind what he did with the Coyotes. He had a pretty solid year for himself, around 36-year-old. So, hey, I'm sure he'll go to contender if he still wants to play. I'm sure he'll go to contender and get a cheap contract, but he has experience, and he could be like that seventh defenseman. John Klingberg, I could see him go to Carolina. I know Dallas wants a right shot guy. They're gonna lose one here in Klingberg. Seattle, definitely could be going after them. The Hurricanes. Very true. Moving on to Josh Manson. I heard the Ducks are definitely interested in bringing him back. I guess he's not going to sign with Colorado. They don't have the money. So, you know what I mean? I'm sure Manson could go back to the Ducks. I think that might be a possibility. They're interested in him for sure. So, yeah, that might be a possibility. He could go there. The Oilers would be a great spot. Here he can play. His father coaches or assistant coach to the Oilers, to Jay Woodcroft. Jay Woodcroft there. So, hey, there you go. Justin Schultz, he can go anywhere on a cheap deal. He has experience. Colin Miller, cheap deal anywhere really. Zadorov, I'm a little surprised that the Flames have let him go. He's a big defenseman. He was a good part of the the Flames defense. So, I think definitely someone to pick him up. Maybe Boston picks him up. I always thought maybe like Boston would pick him up. Boston doesn't have too much money. That would maybe max him out on the cap space. Maybe Colorado brings him back. Maybe Winnipeg brings him in. Winnipeg would be a very interesting one for him, and that would help definitely the Winnipeg Jets out. Ben Sherratt's out there. I know. I heard the Panthers want to bring him back, but they just don't, have the money. But if things work out and all that, the Panthers want to bring him back. Ian Cole, experienced defenseman, third pairing guy. He can go anywhere. Play with the Hurricanes last year, but we'll see what he goes. Brett Kulak, I heard Montreal wants to bring him back. They're definitely going to give him an offer. The Oilers want to give him an offer too. We'll see what happens there. Kulak loved it in Montreal. That was his opportunity after he got traded from the Flames to the Montreal Canadiens. He was more of like an AHL guy until Montreal grew him into this really solid third pairing defenseman that, if needed, if an injury happens, he has to take that, second pairing. He can do that for you. So, very nice to have for sure. Moving on to our goalies. Darcy Kemper most likely will be going to the Capitals. That's what it sounds like. About 5.5 for like $5 million or 5 years. Is it 5 years or 4 years? 4 years, like 5.5. Most likely he's going to the Capitals. I'd be shocked if he goes anywhere else. Campbell, same thing. I could see him go to the Oilers. He's probably going to the Oilers anyways. Martin Jones, there hasn't been really speculation where he could go. Former Flyers. I'd like to see him go to the Rangers. I thought he'll be good fit. Backup Igor Shesterkin. He might not like that because he might not get as many starts. Because Shesterkin takes up a lot of starts, obviously. So we'll see what happens there. Thomas Greiss is out there, and Ilya Samsonov. Greiss can go anywhere if you need a backup goalie. Former, Red Wing. We'll see what happens. And Samsonov, they didn't give him a qualifying offer, which he didn't play very good last year. And I'm a little surprised they didn't, keep him. Give him another chance. But Samsonov can go anywhere. I like to see Campbell and Samsonov as the duo for the Oilers, but I wouldn't actually mind Campbell and Strotskinner. So, or Samsonov could go to anywhere. Maybe he goes to the Rangers and has a duo there with Shesterkin. Hey, you never know. Shesterkin doesn't need a veteran goalie to help him out. He is a veteran winner. So there you go. So thank you for watching. Let me know your thoughts on this, and I'll see you next video.